Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, August 11th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We will be having a reverse aging call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Paradise is not somewhere that you need to map to reach. You are in paradise. You have only fallen asleep. All that is needed is an awakening of self. Imagine being in paradise, but being asleep to it. And this, outside of you in this very moment now, is like we're sleepwalking. All of us live in cages of some type, shape, form. When we feel disconnected from our spiritual nature, anything or anyone can feel like a prison. And perhaps our physical body, financial situations, emotions, spouse, or even our own limiting personalities can make us feel stuck and trapped. The good news is that whatever cage that you were locked up in actually has a key. That key is sitting there, resting inside the lock, ready to be turned when you've had enough suffering and are all ready to set your spirit free once again. Turning your key simply manifests on its own after understanding a few basic principles about what real freedom is and what it is not. Being totally wild and absolutely free is not some radical, rebellious, or disrespectful approach to this life. It is also not about conquering some controlling authority out there who is dictating the rules, how we should and shouldn't live our lives. We don't need permission from anybody else to manifest the life we want to create. Real liberation in this life is not a pushing away to find freedom from someone or from something. It is more peaceful than that. It's about finding that which is already free inside us to be, do, and believe whatever we want. Real freedom is about recognizing how we already are the final word and ultimate authority of our lives. It is knowing that what we honestly believe is what becomes real. And this is the end truth and final reality. There are 8 billion different realities on this planet now, and we are one of them. The moment we choose to believe we can be a wild, fully self-expressed, fun-free being is the exact same moment we realize that we already are the absolute final authority of our lives. The truth is that we are already constantly manifesting everything in our lives right now. Whatever we place our attention for an extended period of time is where our energy flows and what we manifest. We are already one with the great God source. And it is creating everything around us through us. Our greatest freedom comes from understanding this, surrendering to this truth, and feeling how it shows up in everything we do. Every action we take and live is an expression and extension of our consciousness. Whatever we are feeling about ourselves in this life is emanating energy out into the world around us. Nothing and no one is separate from each other. We are all impacting each other all the time. By becoming more sensitive to this truth, it becomes obvious how our limiting beliefs are imprisoning us, stopping us from living the most amazing lives we were born to live. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. Dalai Lama. The real one, by the way. The greatest transformations in our lives often show up in the most subtle and gentle forms. It is vital that we first see where the prisons exist in our lives. Understand how each one is sustained each day in order to demolish it from our minds. Initially, we may not see the prison walls around us because we are so used to them. These invisible cell bars are all the limiting, skeptical, doubtful, and negative beliefs we carry each day. It is a long, compromising list of constrictive ideas that we tell ourselves who we are and what is impossible to achieve. To give ourselves permission to be totally wild and absolutely free starts with finding and releasing every limiting belief which we are clinging to. That makes us feel not too expansive and free. Find those heavy negative thoughts which you honestly feel are true and real about yourself, yet also make you feel sick, stuck, heavy, and very unhappy. Let them go, because they are just ideas which no longer serve your greatest good. Now, this may sound ridiculously simple. Yet when you reach down into the core of you, you'll find that from the truth is when you reach that you are the God source itself, making up all the rules as you go. And that is all there is. When you are ready to empower yourself and manifest the most amazing life, you'll discover this truth. And then life just naturally becomes easier, more magical, and amazing. In order to stop being attached to all of our limiting beliefs and heavy thoughts, we must choose to deeply desire to be free. We must feel into our suffering inside in order to let it go. There must be a visceral feeling in the body of the stuckness first in order for the release to be real. Then we must choose to continuously step back from it and see how every apparently good and bad belief we had about who we are fall into the pile of small limiting beliefs. We must choose to leave behind old beliefs to be free. Let go of all our disappointments, hopes, and fears. If and when we want to truly start living, because attachment to any belief will create some form of future suffering. Attachment to any belief will create some form of suffering in the future. We must choose to live life as if everything could end tomorrow, and also be this eternal spiritual being who knows that nothing could ever destroy us. This is our life. So we choose to live it to the max. We don't know exactly how long we're going to be around in these bodies. This universe has given us a mouth to smile with, a body to enjoy. Don't waste a day that you are here on this beautiful planet. Go outside, live your life totally, fully, and truly. So I invite you to try to feel what it's like to be totally freed from the good and bad opinions of others. Because we see them every day, don't we? We hear them. For this next week of your life, imagine how it might feel in your body to be completely, truly, and honestly free from everyone's thoughts, opinions, and judgments of you. No matter what anyone says, it could be your mom, dad, or some stranger. It does not reflect in any way who or what you are at all. Instead, you realize the divine, infinite, spiritual being, who you truly are, is beyond all thought and concepts completely. This non-attachment to others' opinions of you, is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can all live each day. This non-attachment to others' opinions of you is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can live each day. This is the golden key that turns the lock to realizing at the core who and what we are is already a powerful, divine, and magnificent spiritual being. This spirit and soul, who we really are, in essence, is always free. It never has not been free. Take the risk to get to know your basic spiritual nature. Feel the essence of your infinite spirit inside. We are all rediscovering that the soul within this body and within the center of that soul is God, you. Feel the essence of your infinite spirit inside. This is something that cannot be contained, imprisoned, nor taken away by anything or anyone in the outer world. Realizing this is real freedom. And this spiritually free feeling is our natural state of being. All exploration and expression from this place is the most loving act any of us can give to ourselves and others. The full expression of our real spiritual nature is the deepest gift we can give, as it is the greatest honoring of who we all truly are. Now, you may think that becoming a wildly liberated human being is not the top priority on your to-do list this week. Yet, if it's not in there somewhere, you definitely aren't going to enjoy doing anything on that list of yours. Without wild freedom, our entire lives become a chore, a burden, and a heavy job that must be accomplished just so that we can get our wants and needs met. If we don't stop this nonsense and turn that golden key to unlocking spiritual freedom, you will miss out on the main core purpose of your life, which is to enjoy the short time you are here and alive. It is only by experiencing truth on your own freedom happens. Freedom is the fragrance of the experience of truth. Oh. So the first basic step to freedom is learning how to continuously let go of what others think of you 24 hours a day. This means releasing what you think your immediate friends, family, coworkers, lovers think about you. And honestly, do you know exactly what goes on in their minds? When you drop what you think their opinions are of you, you can actually release whatever your opinions are about you. You'll never be able to be totally free from what your mind thinks, believes, and perceives about you. The mind is like a judgeaholic, right? It is always judging, comparing, labeling something or someone, then changing its mind again and judging again. The mind is a genius and creating all sorts of fanatical, exaggerated opinions, beliefs, and stories. When we understand this truth, it's easy to totally let go of what others think of you, for their opinions will always change. This creates the space inside of us all to think outside the box and believe whatever you want to believe about who and what you are. This spaciousness is the very source of your greatest freedom. So step back from your thoughts, for they are all borrowed ideas. Remember this. Step back from your thoughts, for they are all borrowed ideas from other people anyway. Deep down, this life is more humorous and ironic than we realize. We are creating all of our suffering and joy all day long, every day. We are responsible for it all. The irony is that each day along this lifelong journey, at the very core of our being, is a river of perpetual, loving, creative energy, overflowing with deep healing peace. We don't have to go anywhere to find it. All we simply need to do is sit, become deeply relaxed in the body, and train the mind to not cling to any thought that arises. It may take some time. It won't happen overnight to relax the body, be truly cling-free, and deeply find peace. Yet, doing so, you will experience your soul essence and spiritual nature. There is nothing more important that you should be doing with your life. There is nothing more important that you should be doing with your life. The more often we practice being at peace with what arises in the mind, the easier it becomes to experience every ordinary thing in this life as divine. God follows us wherever we go. Wherever the mind clings to something extra important or special, notice this with awareness and don't push it away. Don't label anything as bad, wrong, or a problem. If you do, this in itself will become what's blocking you from feeling an enlightened, liberated state. So welcome all thoughts with great curiosity and explore what is beneath each one. You'll see that there is nothing there. Each thought is recycled information. It's recycled information gifted from the outer world that we shouldn't take personally at all. You'll see that there is nothing there. Each thought is recycled information gifted from the outer world that we shouldn't take personally at all. If you want to get down to the core of you, ask yourself some deep personal questions. What hole inside you are you trying to fill? Where do you feel trapped in your life and why? Write down these questions and your answers. Make this a 20-minute enlightening exercise that gently opens the door to your soul. When you discover where you feel trapped and empty, you'll see why you're clinging to those things you cannot let go of. This understanding is the most important next step of your wild journey coming ahead. Real battle is won when we see that there are no real enemies out there. The real battle is won when we see that there are no real enemies out there, and that the only real enemy is the imaginary one within our own minds. This realization is the sacred path to our enlightenment. Finding our inner wildness within is the bridge back to our spiritual essence, simply because our spiritual nature is wild, free, and untamable. Expressing this wild spirit within ourselves awakens us from the almighty ego trip we are on. It unlocks the door so that we can step into the vast universe and deeply take care of our wounded selves in the most sensitive, loving, and healing ways. When we discover this connection to our real spiritual nature, we instantly see how every human being is a soul and a spiritual gift to our lives as well. From this place, each person we encounter becomes the source of more love, joy, and inner peace in our lives. When we give ourselves permission to feel spiritually connected, when amongst others we truly become the wild, unstoppable, free being we were born to be. We no longer feel wounded, avoid others, or resist letting others be nourished and loved. We start embracing the divinity that we all actually are. The more we practice feeling into this spiritual connection, the better life feels and the more real our divinity becomes. Understanding that we are all spiritual beings, we realize there is nobody to fight with or against anymore. We see everyone as our friend and greatest teacher. When we can live 24 hours of one day, knowing that we are all sacred, divine, spiritual beings that will never, ever die, we will stop suffering completely. the fight will end with others and within ourselves. We can all then realize together that we are the ultimate authority of our individual realities and capable of creating heaven any moment we want to on this earth. Meditation is a listening with a receptive heart. Meditation is a listening with a receptive heart. Buddha said that. When man is born, he is tender and weak. At death, he is hard and stiff. When things and plants are alive, they are soft and supple. When they are dead, they are brittle and dry. Therefore, hardness and stiffness are the companions of death, and softness and gentleness the companions of life. When an army is headstrong, it will lose in battle. When a tree is hard, it will be cut down. The big and strong belong underneath. The gentle and weak belong at the top. Lao Tzu. Now imagine this, just for a moment, for you to explore an enlightening little experience. I want you to feel, imagine, and believe, for the next few minutes, you have magically transformed into a wildflower. You are a newly sprouting perennial blossom surrounded by a large open field. In a safe, clean environment, green environment, living deep in the protective mountains. Every morning, you have fresh water to drink from the spring, full exposure to the glorious sun. You are a gorgeous wildflower with amazing colors, and your main job in life is to be wild, beautiful, and absolutely free. This level of freedom is powerful, and it means you'll need to deepen your roots, branch upward against gravity, allow yourself to bud, blossom, and spread your petals as wide as you possibly can to receive all the warm sunshine above. Since your main job in this life is simply to blossom, you might as well enjoy the unique blossoming feeling you receive each day. Don't even think about trying to become more like that huge, magnificent pine tree across the field. Just accept your destiny as being this perfect, small green stem in this huge organic field. Now, you may notice at night that the universe is enormous and feel how insignificant, small, and fragile you are. Don't get caught in minimizing yourself. Just focus on your mission to blossom fully. Spread your sweet fragrance with a full spectrum of colors out for everyone to enjoy. You can enjoy this life. We all can. For you are here to experience it all. Our destiny is to experience everything. The totality of this existence. And learn how to welcome all of life with open petals. Your petals naturally receive any light or darkness that is given. When it's sunny, just allow the warm, nourishing rays to reach deep into your core. Enter the stem of your tender heart. You must choose to trust the light that is coming into you, as well as the cool, wet nutrients soaked into your roots. Allow for both light and dark, and they will provide you with the most healing, nourishing, grounding stability. This is why the caribou and the wolf are one. But the caribou feeds the wolf. But it is the wolf that keeps the caribou strong. It's early morning. It's good to know your real vitality and strength comes from living as close to your mother nature as you possibly can. She will provide all your needs and teach you how to be soft and healthy, yet resilient and strong. Do your best to keep your petals up whenever her dark clouds, persistent winds, or cold hail may beat you down in mid-spring. Relax. Remain deeply rooted in your soil when times are tough. Feel your sweet, deep mother is always there, supporting your life. Her dark, rich soil is your home. This is where you came from, and this is where you will return one day again in the future. You may find during the short course of your life, your great mother may bring harsher environmental elements to challenge you. Know that she is trying to stir up your soil so that your roots reach deeper into her secure earth. Now, she might cause a tornado, a great thunderstorm to pass through. It could threaten to uproot your entire life. Don't take her high-pressure winds or dark clouds too personally. She is just reminding you to remain humble, to know your smallness is this vast universe, so you can have even more appreciation and perspective on this life. All her soft and hard elements are gifts to balance out your sense of self. This way, you don't get too high on yourself or too low. When you're in the middle, it's much easier to feel one with your mother and see how her entire universe was never separate from you, yet the most important part of you. Other flowers often say it's good practice to not take this short life too seriously or too personally. Just know that whenever your mother was harsh with you, she was only fiercely loving you, trying to make you stronger. Welcome all her challenges and know they are the essential nutrients needed for you to blossom fully and bear new seeds. It's an amazing skill to learn how to survive under 3 feet of heavy snow. All those heavy times will only make you smile when the light, warm, sunny days happen to arrive. It is unpleasant to tell you this, yet there will come a day that you'll get to experience what it's like to die. It is 100% certain that all will end one perfect day. The end may come suddenly or gradually. You might be chomped by a hungry rabbit, stomped by a passing deer, or gradually wither away, and the wet clouds never come, and the rivers dry up. So the unexpected. Don't get too worried about any details in this short little life. It is only meant to be a temporary and very adventurous ride. Your wild, free spirit will live on and on forever. So there's no need to be afraid of anything. You can stop trying to close your petals and protect yourself if a bear, bunny, or cloud passes by. Just enjoy living in the wilderness. This one life contains the best of times and the worst of times. So enjoy it all as best you can. You will survive those dark, empty nights. Just trust that the warm sunshine will arrive when dawn breaks. It is said by allowing for every succulent, dark, and light experience to be a part of you, the richest and sweetest fragrance is cultivated within. If you should ever get depressed about your fate, just remember that Mother Nature is always here loving you. She gave you life, and through the earth, wind, sun, and rain, she is confirming that she still cares deeply for you. Every morning that she shines her loving light on you, she is wanting you to relax into your roots and know that all is well. You are not some unwanted weed. You are a highly loved, deeply cherished, and a totally wild flower. So you must choose to realize how extremely special and unique you are. There's no other flowering in the universe exactly like you. Every moment is deeply precious, little wild one. So be thankful for what you have and don't have. If you cling too tightly onto anything, you will not enjoy being here. Simply feel into what is hidden deeper within you, at the very center of your stem, at the source of your life. It holds an experience of irrational joy, unfathomable happiness, deep eternal love, and an eternal energy that is independent of any other cause. This means no change in the weather can affect it. And lastly, please remember that you are a very spiritual wildflower. This great journey into the long winter ahead can inspire you to find your soul's highest mission and path. Try rooting yourself with everything you've got inside yourself, just so you can blossom fully. You will do well. Your spiritual essence is always here, always flowing, always available for you. You are forever tapped into the eternal spring of life and always in connection with nature. This is the great spiritual mystery. And you will find all your answers simply by being the amazing wildflower that you already are. Master your thoughts, Buddha. Simply relax into these old repetitive feelings of stuckness. When you totally relax, something deep inside you lets go, and then it's so easy to find a clear path forward. When you force, strive, and push things harder, you sink deeper into your struggle. Relax. You are the only one creating your reality with the thoughts you're choosing to think. Enjoy the sweet sensation of relaxing into the amazing life that you've created, appreciating this very moment. This whole arena, the whole thing, all around us, everywhere, in this very moment, in this very now, is what we create. Now, our ego minds will argue with you, right? You'll say to yourself, there's no way I'm creating all this. Can't be. I wouldn't create all this. I couldn't imagine creating this kind of life. Something else is creating this. But you do know that you're in the head in that moment, the ego mind. You drop into the heart mind, and then you realize, I am the only one creating this around me. No one else is. This isn't a blame, that's ego mind. All of us, one, the illusion of separation, as we all know, is actually everything. All of this stuff, right? In this very moment, all the things happening outside of us on this planet, and some inside of it, is what we created. Now, some of us are totally unconscious of this. Others of us are not. And we all are affected because we're still in that kind of a cage, right? Where we're concerned what others are saying, whether it's about us or anything else. And so we inadvertently take it in, and what happens? Worry, stress, fear, suffering. None of us are exempt from it. But see, it's knowing this. We know this. So instead of staying in the pool outside of ourselves forever, never getting out of the water, we look at everything with no judgment. We just watch. And we begin to realize something quite amazing. We realize that the center of mastery over the ego mind, over all this outside of us, right, is to reside in the heart mind. To live in the now. Now, I'm not saying that this is a real simple task for us, many of us, because none of us are exempt to be drawn outside of that. Into where? The material physical world. Worried about what people think, worried about what people are doing, worried about this, stressing about this. And it is all outside of us. You know those tens of millions and billions of thoughts that fly by us like clouds in the sky? 99.999% of them aren't ours. And we inadvertently will grab onto those. Like when you ever been just doing something and thoughts come in, flood in, and you're saying to yourself, where did those come from? Now, they seem like they're yours. That's the trick. And they're just thoughts, right? And they come in and you go, why would I think those thoughts? Because you're not thinking those thoughts. Those are the programs that fly by like clouds in the sky. And they come in. And you subconsciously bring them in. And then it's attached to you. It just feels like it's attached to you. And you'll say to yourself, those aren't my thoughts, and they'll disappear. They'll just vanish. Those are not my thoughts. I don't care to interact with them. Why would I interact with them? There's no reason to. The ego mind throws out all kinds of stuff. See? The ego mind generates all kinds of thoughts. Good, bad, ugly. And all of this is connected to externality. Where is most of our attention as a species, a civilization? Where are we putting our attention? Is it on ourselves? Is it discovering first the soul within that body, then the God within the soul? Are we doing that? Is that where our attention's at? Or is it out there? Say, this civilization is beginning to realize, step by step, how powerful it is. Okay? And it's the very thing that is transforming this planet into higher and higher and higher vibrational frequencies. More and more of us are starting to realize through the heart mind that we are supremely powerful immortal beings. And that we're starting to see the results of this discovery. And this planet is responding. And the civilizations and all the externality is being affected. Now the ego mind is going to do everything in its power to convince us, oh, that's crazy. You aren't powerful. You can't do that. What's wrong with you? You know? And a lot of the times we'll win. And so we kind of throw it aside. But something has shifted. Normally we throw it aside and walk on. But now we may throw it aside and then say, wait a minute. I'm going to go back to this. There's something there. And your mind says, no, you don't need to go back to that. Oh, no, I'm going back to it. And you start discovering there's more here than I first thought. Who is watching you? Who's watching you? What is it? Who stares back at you when you look in the mirror? Maybe you start realizing that it's not the body, right? You start realizing that, so what is it? Who am I? And then you go deeper. And then you start feeling, and this is through the heart-mind, through your breath in the now, and then you start feeling just out of nowhere like a bliss feeling, a really good feeling that you hadn't felt in a long time. And then you go a little bit deeper. And you're filled with happiness. So you say, why stop? I'll just keep going deeper within me. And then you discover your soul. And you're in a immense blissful feeling bursting from your heart mind, saturating your entire being. And then you say, but there's something else there other than the soul. And so you go in and you open the door, and it's the God. All along, always has been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. The God. You are the God. You are not the body. You're not the character. You're not the personality. You are not your belongings or status in this life. You are the God. This is a self-discovery for all of us on this planet at this time to embrace, not to run from, not to fear, but to embrace. So many of us, throughout existence in these bodies, whatever physical form we've been have inhabited, miss this. We've missed it. We kind of walked on by and we weren't noticing. Our vision was straight forward. We had horse blinders on, tunnel vision. Now, people say, well, what's changed? Our self-discovery has changed. So this earth, this planet that we're currently on in these bodies, all the gods in all physical forms, we're rediscovering who and what we are. And so we've decided to shift the planetary energies. Now, the God within the planet, we're part of that God That God's part of us. So it's a collective effort. That's why we use the word collective. The one. So you may say, the ego mind might come in and say to you, no, that's all babble. It's nothing. Just keep following me, we'll be fine. See? But something's shifted, something's changed. And you say to the ego mind, you're not in charge here. And the ego mind kind of fades out. And you say, how do we want, right? How do all of us want this planet to be? How do we see it from a higher frequency perspective? When you have fallen into romantic love, we've all experienced that, right? How do you feel? You feel within, right? You feel the heart mind. It's not the ego, it's the heart mind. All kinds of phenomenal emotions. Now you take that, remember that, and exponentially expand it trillions of times. Then you'll begin to understand how powerful the love is of the God within your soul, within that body. And we take that energy and we direct it and we beam it out all over the surface of the planet, all over the planet. And that's what we're doing. Increasing vibrational frequency, understanding oneself, is the beginning of major shifting and changing. There is no power outside of us that's doing this. It is us. No matter what anything, doesn't matter when anything comes up, and all this spectacularness outside of us, and all this convincing, and all this doom and gloom, and all the end of the world, it is just an illusion. And it is created by lower dark matter frequencies to convince you to create it. See? That's what this is all about. To convince you to create the very thing that you detest. This isn't a blame game. This is a discovery for all of us. And we know how we created it. We know how we can create something else. And it's always through the heart mind. It's not in this, it's not the head. The head's real tricky because you'll say, "Oh, I'm in the heart mind," but it's kind of like, I don't feel like I'm in the heart mind. I'm still in the head. I'm still in the ego mind. See, in the ego mind, the positive properties of the ego mind is that it teaches us not to be in it. Why do you think all these wars, conflict, pain, sorrow, anguish, destruction, power, control, manipulation, deception, where do those come from? The ego mind. Right? Where does deep eternal love, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance, where does that come from? The heart mind. Where does Where does genuine giving, sharing, loving come from? The heart mind. Doesn't come from. Now the difference, ego mind would say, I'm loving, but I want something from it. Say, that's the ego mind. Heart mind is, I'm loving because I am love. That's the difference between the two. And all of us are discovering in our own way. No one's forcing you. No one's pressing you. No one's manipulating you. Only you are deciding the journey to take. Every time we get wandered off, right, we're in the now. The now is all we have, any of us. No matter how you want to debate it with the ego mind. The now is all any of us have. So when we focus on our breath, easy and slowly in through the nose and easy and slowly out through the mouth, we move into the now, we literally leave the ego mind, the subconscious mind alone. We leave them alone. We don't engage them, We don't interact with them. Oh, sure, they'll bubble up all kinds of stuff. You say that's an ego thought, I'm not interested in it. Right? That's an ego feeling, I'm not interested in it. Ah, this is a heart mind. This I'm interested in. And then we begin to realize is that, how many of us on this planet, hundreds of thousands of years, have always found ourselves in a place waiting for something to save us, right? Waiting for something to save us. And you ever notice that the waiting for something to save us never seems to come? And we get frustrated, irritated, we get angry, we suffer. But then we start discovering something. We are what we keep waiting for. The God's within us. The God within the soul in this body. That's what we keep waiting for. And that's discovered. And it's a choice. Do you believe within your core that that is the truth? I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. take an easy and slow breath in through the nose and an easy and slow breath out the mouth. Be still. When in your life are you an unconscious doing machine? If so, then where are you a conscious being? Where in your life are you an unconscious doing machine? And if so, then where are you a conscious being? Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night and following morning. And we will return here Friday, August 12th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call.